If you have been in my class before, you know that the subject of culture is very important to me. And I think that it's something that we should all think about. The question here is, does everyone have culture? And I believe that they do. Let me give you an example. When my children were small, we didn't have that idea in our class, in our household, that pink was a girl color and blue was a boy color. For some reason, they came up with the idea that pink was their favorite color. I couldn't believe that they said that, but that's the way it was. So they had pink as their favorite color. Well, we never said anything about it because it didn't bother my husband that pink was their favorite color. So they went to kindergarten, and guess what happened there? In kindergarten, they told everyone very proudly that pink was their favorite color. And right away, quite a few of the children said to them, "You can't have pink as your favorite color. Pink is a girl color." Well, that happens to be a cultural issue. Chinese don't think about pink as a girl color and blue as a boy color. In fact, when my boys were young, they received pink sweaters from some people, which I don't think I ever put on them because I am American, but we still didn't talk about it too much when they were young. So they immediately changed their favorite color to red. Now, that's showing that outside forces, not only the family, can influence the culture. Now they've understood that in the American culture, it is not acceptable to have pink as your favorite color. Now, this is just a small issue, but we can get to larger issues. I've used the example many times about eye contact. For American culture, they always want the American boy or girl to look them in the eye when I'm talking to you, right? Isn't that what we say? Look me in the eye when I'm talking to you. Well, I think that that is true. But in the Asian culture, my husband would not want them to look him in the eye. They were to put their head down, hold their hands quietly, and look down at the floor. So if they go into a classroom where the teacher says, "Look me in the eye," they don't know what to do because they are too scared to look up because they have been told to look down at the floor. You should be ashamed of yourself. Which leads me to the next idea, that they should be the difference between the guilt culture and the shame culture. American culture, or most Western cultures, are guilt cultures. We're taught from a very young age that we should feel bad about the bad things that we do. If we do something wrong, we should feel bad about that. The Asian culture talks more about feeling bad, that you will be shamed in front of other people. For example, you may only feel bad if you get caught. Now, to us, that sounds terrible, but that's not terrible in their culture. In their culture, it's a shame to be put somewhere and told that you are bad. So you may have heard the phrase losing face. Well, that's where it comes from. You are not supposed to lose face. So this leads to not only small things like color and eye contact, but it comes to values, what we believe in, those important things in life. And I believe that values and beliefs are the same thing as culture. There's an article that I ask you to read in the PowerPoint that talks about that parenting is an influence. We want our children to believe like we do. We really want them to. However, the problem is they don't always believe like we do. And they make decisions on what is right and what is wrong in their own minds. And they come up with their own ideas. The quote from the textbook says that let me go back to the quote, that children accept some lessons of culture and keep them throughout life. They reject others and replace them with new ways. Parents and teachers don't always have control over which lessons about culture will be kept and which will eventually be rejected. There's a word called inculturation. So that's the process of learning about culture, by observing, imitating, practicing, and being taught. So the first people who do this are the parents, right? The family, whoever is taking care of the child. However, if you have this child in your daycare for a long period of time, they are learning from you as well. So they are learning your culture as well by observing, imitating, practicing, and being taught. The child learns those accepted norms, what is okay. Like my son found out it is not okay to have pink as your favorite color if you are a boy. And they right away changed from that. You learn your values. Is it okay to do something wrong if you don't get caught? Is it better to feel guilty or is it better to have shame? The values that you have in life. What is right? What is wrong? The language that you speak. If you have a child in your daycare who speaks Spanish at home but speaks English with you, then they are learning both languages through those accepted norms and skills. One of our jobs as daycare and preschool and teachers is to teach the children skills, academic skills. And so we must do this. And that is a part of their enculturation. I hope you understand from this lecture that culture is a part of all of us. And I think that as we grow, we have not only the culture in our families, but the culture from teachers, uh, church members, pastors, priests, that all affect what we are going to do, what we as a child, a student, is going to grow up to be like, and what we learn along the way, what decisions we make about what we believe is right and what we believe is wrong, is all part of our culture. Thank you for listening to me today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.